Okay, so have you ever had someone say, this is just constructive criticism, or wow, why are you taking offense to this? And why are you so sensitive? And can't you just let this roll off your back? You're overreacting. Just get over it. It's just one little thing that needs to be fixed in your project, yet you look at that project after they say it's that one little thing that needs to be fixed and you melt down. You focus on that one thing that they said that needed to be fixed and you're like, it sucked. Everything sucked. And sometimes people that say this constructive criticism they don't do it in a way that aligns with your soul. And this is going to happen because it's life, right? Like immediately when you get that constructive criticism or that criticism, like your stomach hurts, your chest may be tightened, and you're like, oh my gosh, I suck. Like if it was one thing in a project that your boss said needs fixed, you're like, the whole project sucks. I should redo it. Or if a friend said you didn't support them good enough, I'm a terrible friend. It's a freaking spiral. And sometimes the person that's giving you that criticism is smiling and coming at you in a way that feels not genuine. And this is the thing. As a sensitive soul, you feel what is behind the words. Other people may not notice it, but you do. So you take that criticism to heart. You take that to a whole nother level. And letting it roll off your back, well, that's the worst advice ever. It's kind of like calm down, right? So if you're experiencing this, you're not the only one. Sensitive souls experience criticism in a really tough way. It's hard to let it go. So today we are going to break this down when it happens in real life, what you can do to start letting it go, and also just start to be able to understand it where it's happening in the moment. So you have tools to be able to tackle that in the moment. I also want to talk to you a little bit about what is going on in my life. I am moving across the country, so I don't even know if my mic is picking things up. I think it is. I'm in this, this is the only place in my house that looks somewhat normal. Everything else is complete chaos. So if my audio sounds weird, if, where I'm recording sounds weird, the next few weeks, maybe I'm recording on the road. I don't know. And I don't know what it's going to look like whenever we do get to our destination. So just bear with me as I am working through all the logistics and details. So it's just chaos. And if you ever want me to do a video on how I've done this to even somewhat stay grounded during such a giant move, let me know. Drop it in the comments. So if you're new here, I'm Ginger. I'm an intuitive energy healer and coach for HSPs and empaths. HSP, highly sensitive people. So I say sensitive souls. And welcome to my channel, The Thriving Sensitive. I'm grateful you are here. We are in a new series right now called This Happened, Now What? So where we are going to talk about every single week a real life HSP moment, things that actually happen in your real life and what to do about it. Giving you tools to deal with the real stuff in the moment that it happens. None of this fluffy mindset tips there, like go and own your power. We're diving deeper. It's energy, mindset, and you. So if you've missed the first 2 episodes, you can check them out. I will drop the links below. The first one was the real reasons HSP struggle in groups and how to fix it. And that one, guys, a lot of people had a lot of comments and responses with because it is a big struggle. Go check it out. The second one, why you can't stop replaying that damn conversation in your head days, maybe weeks, maybe months, maybe years later. Check that one out. And today we're talking about criticism, why it hits so hard for sensitive souls. So why does this hit so hard? I really want you to understand this so you can finally give yourself some grace. Give yourself some compassion. If you are a highly sensitive soul, criticism quite literally takes over your entire body. Like before the words come out, you already know somebody's going to say something to you and it's going to put you into fight, flight, freeze. A subject of an email, body language, energy, you can almost smell it. I know if somebody sends a text message, before I even start to read like the first line, I can feel the energy behind the message. If somebody comes and talks to me about something, like I want to talk to you about this and express how I feel, but it's really kind of criticism laced in a bunch of, we're just gonna go BS right now. I know what that person is going to say, and I know what they're actually feeling behind the words. So whether they are judging me or criticizing in a way to be mean. I've had people, I remember when I first started coaching, and I did a year-long coaching program, guys. That was a very intense program. And I'm also a well-educated woman. I have a bachelor's and a master's, and I taught for years. And I taught adults for years as well, both children and adults. And so I'm very familiar familiar with teaching and coaching. And I remember, and I will say, going into, life coaching, mindset coaching, the things that I do, it triggers people. And I think that maybe a lot of sensitive souls are here to trigger people. So whenever they are doing certain things, and also we're super passionate about things. So whenever you're doing things, it is like your passion is drained into a project, and that might create jealousy amongst someone. Or whenever I lost my train of thought. I started going off on a tangent. So I said the jealousy. Whenever somebody was trying to criticize when I first started coaching, and I had done hours and hours of coaching with master level coaches. So I knew what I was doing, and I'm always open to people giving advice to help. But when it's advice from somebody that doesn't know how to coach and doesn't have any training, you got to take a look at the person and say, what is their actual reasoning for doing this? And I remember sitting down, and I remember this person like looking at me saying, I'm just here to help and explain to you that hurt that person's feeling. Well, my job, I've realized now, I didn't then. I was very scared to stand up for myself. But now as a coach, I realize my job is almost to trigger people, because it's going to pull out what is uncomfortable out of you to get you to start looking at those shadows so you can fix it. And maybe this is also happening in your life where you don't even realize it. And people are like, well, let me tell you, like it could happen in your family. It could happen in, your social groups, things like that. I mean, I feel like you weren't really, listening. And you're like, wait a second, I'm a really good listener. I mean, you can fill in the blank. So it might be wrapped in jealousy because you put so much passion into things. It might be wrapped in like people that just aren't really uncomfortable with the things that you say and do. So I went kind of off on a tangent there, but I think it's important to start to understand and look at the person who is giving you that advice. Look at that person who's giving you that critiquing. And is it worth taking that on? And if we really want to look at it, there's actually some science behind it. HSPs just process things more deeply. I've talked about this in many videos. Your brain lights up in areas that deal with emotion, pain, overstimulation. So when someone hits you with that criticism, whether it's direct or I'm just trying to help, that laced, underlying words, your system immediately goes into that overdrive. And I feel like whenever it happens, it is almost like this out-of-body experience when it happens. When this person is giving you the criticism, it's like you're over your body and you can't control it. Like the tears, the overwhelm, the tightness, it's just like you're watching yourself, and you know what's about to happen in your body, in your nervous system, and you know the shutdown and the spiral that is going to proceed. So it's almost like even recognizing that spiral is going to happen sends you into that spiral in that moment. And what many sensitive souls don't realize, it is not the words that are coming out of the mouth that the person is sharing with you. It is what is not being said that you are picking up on. If somebody says your coaching sucks and you don't know what you're doing, but yet you have no idea how to coach, just because you know how to talk to somebody doesn't mean you know how to coach. But I knew what it was laced behind. I don't know why I keep holding my finger up. I knew the words that she was saying, but it was laced with judgment. It was laced with, I know better than you. And you can feel that. You feel the energy behind the words. That is an epiphany. When that happens in the moment, when someone comes and tells you something that you feel like is criticism, and you're looking at the words and going, you might be saying it this way, but I'm feeling it another way. That's your red flag going off inside your body, recognizing the energy of what they are bringing. Without saying it, you feel the energy behind the words. This is also why it's so hard to let it roll off your damn back, y'all. You apply this then to everything in your life. They say that coaching wasn't great or that project wasn't great, and you think, I'm a failure, I suck, and then it's kind of just this intense feeling that you're like, I ruined everything and it's always my fault and I suck at this and I suck at that, and you go in the roller coaster in the spiral from that one statement, from that one thing. That's why it feels like your whole world is crashing down from that one comment. Someone who is not sensitive is never going to get this, because one, they also are not reading the words behind what you're saying to them. I hope this is eye-opening because you can finally understand what the hell is going on with your nervous system when this happens, when you get that criticism, why you start to break down. So let's get into some of the things that happen in your head when this happens. It's called a gremlin. So a gremlin is that inner voice that's telling you, oh, see, you're not good enough. Oh, you always screw this up. See, you suck as a friend. You're not cut out for this job. You should quit. That is your gremlin. That is your ego's mouthpiece. It's your internal voice that you have trained essentially over time. And through criticism, trauma, silence, conditioning, it keeps you small to conform yourself. And then you say, see, I suck, even though you don't. So your gremlin needs or feeds off of that. It feeds off that programming. And it shows up the second you feel emotionally vulnerable. And that's what criticism does. It makes you vulnerable. So here's the thing. Your gremlin, guys, is not evil. It's there to protect you because something happened in your past that it wants to protect you. I did a whole video about your ego. Definitely check it out. Because when that thing happens, you get that criticism, the gremlin grabs the mic and says, see, I told you this happened before. That project isn't great. You hear that one statement, you spiral, you suck. And the gremlin says, you should quit. You should stay small. But you have to stop listening to that gremlin. You have to start naming it, calling it out, talking to it like a character almost. Like mine is, I call the storm. I call it the storm because I can feel it. When that storm rolls in, it's like these deep, dark clouds that start rolling in. And I know when it starts to roll in because those thoughts, guys, you know this spiral. It hurts my head to even think about it. You suck. You shouldn't do this. You could, like, I mean, how many times this has come up for me when that coaching example, and I just started coaching. I finished my coaching. Yet again, I have also 15 years of teaching and coaching prior to being a life coach. And I coached as a manager in every role I ever had. And every person has always said great things. And then this one person who wants to tell me that I suck, I listened to her. And I let her take over. And it stopped me. I'm going to give you another example. I had a person that came on here 2 weeks ago that told me that my audio sucked and I made him dizzy the way that I was talking, the way that sometimes I look at my notes, and I do my best utilizing like the resources I have. And I stopped recording for a hot second because I was like, I suck. And I listened to this one person and then I realized, like, why am I listening to this one person? So what? I'm not a professional YouTuber right now. So what that I do have a good mic, but I have no idea if you can hear me right now on it. And I said that to him. And I said, I'm doing my best right now with what I have. And he came back with, you're an unhealed person. And if you can't take criticism, and I was like, whoa, you're on a sensitive soul channel. And if you are a sensitive soul, no sensitive soul is going to come at you like that. So a lot of times that is how criticism is given nowadays. It's like, oh, I'm just allowed to be harsh. No, it doesn't give you the green light to be harsh. There's a way to express it. There's a way to talk about it. Because even if, we're going to go back to the energy, even if they are expressing something that you need to hear, but they aren't saying it in a way that is a way that actually resonates with you, you're going to shut down, you're going to block it out because you can feel the energy behind their words. So I digressed again. So let's go back to the gremlins. So when that gremlin shows up, I want you to actually face it. I want you to say, I see you. I know why you're here, but I don't need you anymore. And you give your gremlin, like I said, a name, and you give your gremlin a new job. So it is not to sabotage, it's awareness. Maybe the whole job of the gremlin now is just to become aware. It is understanding what is happening when that criticism takes place. I'm going to drop a Google Doc in here that you can just access for free without even dropping your email. So if it's something you like, I would love for you to get on my email list, but I'm just going to drop in some questions that you can go through so you can start to recognize when this ego starts to drop in your head. Because when the criticism happens and you're in that vulnerable state, it is going to immediately say, because you go in the spiral and the spiral says you suck and I shouldn't do this and I'm a terrible friend and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. What story am I saying here? And it's typically attached to something that happened to you in your past and or past lives or something that we can start diving even deeper in. But let's just go with this lifetime. It's something that happened in your childhood and you didn't feel comfortable, safe, you felt vulnerable, and so you immediately go into that spiral. You have to start changing that job of the gremlin. Like I said, maybe it's just the awareness. I see you, but I don't need you. And I can do this. I can figure this out without you. I appreciate that you're keeping me safe. The gremlin is trying to keep you from being hurt. Okay, so now let's talk about people using this honesty, criticism as a weapon. People that are not sensitive souls may not see through this, but we do. It's that energy you see behind the words that are spoken. And you've probably had someone say, I just need to speak my truth, or I just need to be honest with you how I feel. And it's followed by something that is criticism about you, but it's really just kind of not nice. Probably most of the time what it really is I've been triggered by something that I'm about to dump onto you. And that's wrapped up in this cute little bow of honesty. And you feel it coming. Your body braces for it. You know it before it even happens. And really, I think it comes down to sometimes control. These people that give this criticism wrapped up in this bow know that maybe you are not great at setting boundaries, and maybe you're not going to stand up for yourself. It's not as easy for you to do it. So they take advantage of that. I've had people do this my entire life where they've known that I'm probably not going to stand up for myself. This was before. And I am not going to set that boundary. And they come at me with, I'm clearing the air. Let me tell you, what you did. And, maybe you're not healed enough to take this. And that is not kind, guys. And as sensitive souls, we take it, especially as sensitive women, we're often conditioned to stay quiet, be understanding, be nice. And when people tell you, you should have talked quietly, you should have not been so loud, you should have not been so sensitive. Most of the time, when people are saying that, what they're really saying is, I would have done it this way, so you should do it that way too. It's wrapped up in this nice, neat bow, but you can feel their judgment. You can feel that you did it wrong compared to their expectations. So it's a communication thing, yes, but it's not about your truth. It's not about the discomfort with your truth. It's not feedback. It's a projection, kind of with a side of control. That's what's happening. And let's be honest, most people don't even realize they're doing it because they don't know how to give criticism in a way that's kind. The real life example that I gave you is somebody commenting on my videos. I'm not here to be this filmmaker. And maybe one day when I have somebody do it professionally for me, great. But I did. I felt attacked. And I sat with it. I will tell you, I sat with that comment before I responded. And I thought about that comment before, and I took an approach. I was kind in my feedback, but I kept my boundary. He or she did not like that and came back and said, you're not a healed person. That's not how we criticize. That's nasty. So it's a projection usually. It's not constructive. When it's constructive criticism, there's a difference. You're gonna feel the energy behind it. If you've ever had a good boss that gives you constructive criticism, you know the difference. If you've ever had somebody that's worked with you or a friend that is giving you constructive criticism, you know the difference. I have had friends that I've had big blowout fights with, and we've come back together and we sat down, we had constructive criticism. We had constructive feedback to give each other. Hey, this is where I struggled. Hey, where did you struggle? Can we come together and figure out? Like, it's an open communication. If you feel like you immediately shut down with that person and you feel that criticism is not just constructive, it's not helpful, your whole body shuts down, your nervous system goes into complete panic, and you're like, oh my God, this is just mean. It probably is. So a lot of times people are projecting their insecurities onto you. And because you're sensitive, you take it and you see it. So this is the thing. You are allowed to stand up for yourself. You are allowed to say, that doesn't feel good to me. That crossed a line. Whenever it's somebody giving you constructive criticism wrapped up in a bow and you know exactly what it is, you can smell the deception behind the criticism. So take that person who's ever saying it. Do you need to take it with a grain of salt? Is it worth giving them my power? What story am I telling myself? And then you don't have to be the peacemaker. You don't have to absorb everyone's discomfort and their energy. Having a boundary also for a sensitive soul feels like rebellion. It's gonna feel awful the first time you do it. And you are gonna beat yourself up afterwards. I'm just gonna tell you that. And you're gonna struggle with this because your throat chakra is blocked. You've got to start clearing your throat chakra and practicing when you set those boundaries. Standing in front of your mirror and saying what you want to say. Because if you go in and you start to talk to them, your mind possibly might black out. That's what happens to me. I black out. So instead of blacking out and the thoughts aren't coming and you can't think straight because the criticism is rolling and you feel uncomfortable and the energy is stiff and tight and everything else, you just black out. And I'm not meaning literally, you have no thoughts in your head. That happens to sensitive souls. You have no thoughts in your head. So practice. I really recommend to practice what you are going to say before you set a boundary. Write it out and practice it. Practice, practice, practice. I know that sounds silly. Talk it out while you're in your car driving to work, what you're gonna say. If you're gonna set a boundary, it's gonna feel rebellious because as a sensitive soul, it's hard for us to do that. So just be very well aware that it's going to be difficult and uncomfortable. Write out what you wanna say as a boundary. Practice it. But before you even do that, I'm sorry, I missed a step, clear your throat chakra. So the words can just come out and flow. Also, before you speak a boundary, ground yourself. Take a deep breath. Stand with your feet flat on the floor. Imagine pulling up energy from Mother Earth, bringing it all the way up to your crown chakra and releasing. And then say, I've got this. And imagine your throat chakra being clear, allowing the words to flow. This is steps that typically sensitive souls don't take. Yet if you go in flustered with your heart pounding and without practicing, you're gonna go blank. Setting that boundary, it's not as easy for you. You don't just go set boundaries because one, it feels rebellious. It's hard. And you have to become aware of how hard it is for you. So ground yourself. Clear your throat chakra. I also want to make sure that you're releasing energy that you're picking up. If somebody does come at you with constructive criticism and you know what's behind those words, I will step away and you're gonna think I'm ridiculous, but I'll be like, "Ah!" if I get in my car and I'll just punch the air. And yes, because sometimes it's anger that shows up, and anger is an emotion that is, sensitives are very scared to bring into their body, yet we need to move through those emotions. You have to move through the emotions. So whatever the criticism happens, I will cry, I will scream, I will, and it doesn't mean that you're weak feeling that. It means you're working through it. You recognize, you have the awareness, I can feel the energy behind what they're saying. Now let me think about what I can do next. So you're not reacting, you're responding, you're moving the energy through. When those gremlin shows up and says, oh, see, I'm trying to keep you safe. This happened in 3rd grade when somebody critiqued you on your dance moves, and it's the exact same thing. It's not. And you have to realize that's the story. Let's review what we went through. Ground yourself before you set a boundary. Start practicing setting the boundaries. Practice what you're going to say. Give yourself time to reflect and let yourself move through the emotions. So, and again, anger, yes, is scary, and you might feel it whenever somebody criticizes you. And it's not a bad thing. Find a healthy way to move that anger out of your body. And if it's like, do it. Or if it's jumping up and down or screaming, whatever it is. I will scream sometimes. I will have people in coaching sessions scream because we hold this in. And sometimes you just need to let it go. And that, my friends, will also open up your freaking throat chakra because we hold it in. We don't allow ourselves to clear. We don't allow ourselves to say what we're feeling. So don't hold back. Let it flow. That opens up the frequency. So maybe before you go have these difficult conversations, you go, wah! And then you just go and you're like, ground yourself, and you go and you have that conversation. You're going to feel more in your power because you are creating that power in your body. You're opening up your throat chakra. You're creating power also in your solar plexus. Criticism is so hard for you because you can feel that energy behind the words, what they're not saying. That's a big deal. I hope this was eye-opening. I hope this helped you understand why criticism is so hard. If you enjoyed this video, I would greatly appreciate a thumbs up. Give me a comment below. What is something like like you're struggling with something right now? Drop it below. I will respond. We can work it out together. I'm sending you so much light, love, and beautiful energy. Have a great day, y'all.